Hey, welcome back to Cooking for the Hungry. I am Papa and I am cooking for the hungry. Today we're going to start a three-part series on safety in the kitchen. Very, very important. And I break those rules sometimes and shouldn't. We're going to talk about electrical and fire extinguishers today. Next time we'll talk about small appliances and things related to that, and knives. And the third one is going to be on cleanliness, why, and things to look for and what you should do. So let's start with electrical. First thing, let's talk about GFCI plugins. They're required everywhere that I know, and I think usually the rule of thumb is anything within 6 feet of water in the kitchen or the bathroom needs to have a GFCI plug-in. The reason being because if the water gets anywhere near the plug-in, the wiring, or whatever it is that's plugged into, it can cause major problems. And you can get electrocuted, or an appliance or something may catch on fire. So anything within 6 foot of water where you use water. In my kitchen, I have one on each side of the sink, and I have one on each side of the stove. A GFCI plug-in has 2 buttons in the middle and a little green light. If it's been tripped, that green light will be off. If it's on and working properly, the green light will be on. There's 2 buttons. One is the button to reset, and the other button is when it's been tripped, it'll go off and then pop that, basically turn that outlet off. No electricity going to those plug-ins. It's for your safety. It's for the safety of having a fire or getting electrocuted. I can't say enough about having those. Most of your newer places have those. Make sure they have those in all the right places. And like even in the bathroom, anything within 6 foot of running water or water needs to have a GFCI plug. All of the plug-ins in my bathrooms have those. I would say that even if you have like a washroom, like the washer and dryer, those should have plugs on any plug-ins near those also. Or you have a room, just a room out in the garage that's, you got a sink out there for washing stuff. Anything within 6 foot needs to have a GFCI. And no, that don't mean you can run an extension cord to something and move it farther away from that water, because that plug-in is where you plugged it in at is still within 6 feet. It can cause the same problems. Now, if that trips and it doesn't do its job properly, or in addition to, it may throw the breaker switch in the electrical panel. If you're not licensed to do these things and repair them, I highly recommend that you hire somebody to do so. Or if you're renting, have your landlord get it taken care of. Because if something's tripped a switch, it may have just been something very, very minor. So you can unplug whatever it is you can. Use a rubber glove, that's always good. And unplug whatever it is and hit the reset switch. If it does fine after that, it doesn't go back off by itself. Whatever it is that you had plugged in is causing the problem. And you can, once you set that, if the breaker switch goes off, you can turn the breaker back on. If it stays on without anything plugged in, well then most likely there's nothing wrong with that breaker switch. You go back and turn the GCFI plug off and then on, and it goes on, stays green. I would assume that there's something wrong with whatever's plugged in. Don't plug it back in. Seek some help. Take a look at whatever it is, what minor appliance or your microwave or whatever it is. I said, highly recommend all of those things. I wouldn't be trying to mess with this stuff if you don't know what you're doing. Get help. Seek help. Somebody who knows is licensed. And why am I saying licensed? Because there's some people that say they know what they're doing and they may not be licensed, they may not know what they're doing, and they're going to try to do something about it anyway. Beware. So, we're going to switch over now and we're going to talk about fire extinguishers and fires. Let me grab the extinguisher I got here. Alright. This is a fire extinguisher, and I keep this just out of my kitchen, probably about 5 feet outside of my kitchen area, and so that if outside of the kitchen I come in and find a fire, it's handy and I don't have to get in close to the fire. And if I'm in the kitchen and something catches on fire, I can step away from the kitchen area and grab the fire extinguisher. You don't want to stay close to the fire. And I always recommend, I would not recommend anything else, is an ABC fire extinguisher. And make sure it looks, it's been inspected and it looks like it's in good shape. If you got to use one from somebody, make sure that you look at the gauge, and they should always have a gauge. If it's one that don't have a gauge, don't keep it. But if it's showing full on green, that means it's full. And you got a pin on it. There's a little pin right here that pulls out so that you can depress the handle and activate the fire extinguisher. In using the fire extinguisher, I recommend that you stay back from the fire at least 8 foot, and that way, if you shoot at the fire, nothing's going to splash back on you. We don't want that. Or the powder out of the fire extinguisher gets in your eyes. Neither one's a good thing. So, the hose loose, pull the pin right here, and the pin releases the handle so that you can squeeze the handle to use it. hold the fire extinguisher in one hand and shoot this with the other hand. No, that's not the way to do it. You hold this, that bottom part of that handle, and you use this to point. You point it at the base of the fire. Always point it at the base of the fire. A grease fire, you want to make sure you're standing back a little ways, because if you're too close and you shoot at that grease, these are under pressure, it could blow that grease back around on you, either burn you, put fire on you, or just burn your skin from the hot oil or grease. So step back a ways, shoot it at the base of the fire. If you have an electrical fire, like one of your stove, refrigerator, appliance, whatever it is, microwave, same thing. Wherever the fire is at, shoot at the base of that fire. Do not run over and unplug it and then put the fire out. You can get burned pretty bad that way, or electrocuted. So make sure you put the fire out first. If you do happen to know where the breaker switch is for the kitchen, or the separate one for the stove or refrigerator, go and turn those off so that the electricity is not going in there. Usually if you've got a fire like that, electrical fire, it'll kick off the GFCI plug and may throw the breaker. But anyway, if you know where the breaker is at and you know which one it is, turn it off. Then you can come in and unplug it if you put the fire out. And I recommend using a glove, so that whatever it is could be hot. You want to burn yourself, then unplug it. And then I would either get rid of that appliance or make sure that it's serviced and fixed by a licensed repair person. The other thing is accelerant. There's all different kinds of accelerants. There's oils, gasoline type, and there's wood and wood and plastic. Plastic can get pretty nasty quick, and that's not easy to put out. But again, you shoot at the base of the fire. Wood, if it's got burned into your wall or something, try to put that out. But if it gets to the point where it's out of hand and you can't put it out, then you need to get out of the house. Don't run and find all your things that you want to keep and don't want to lose. You don't want to lose your life. Whatever it is, it's not worth losing your life. Get out of the house, get out of the apartment, wherever it is that you live, and call 911. If you don't have a phone with you and you can't get to it, run to go to a neighbor's house or a neighbor's apartment or condo and ask them to call 911 and make them aware that there is a fire in your place. Again, get out of the house, get out of the apartment, get out of the condominium, whatever it is, and go to your neighbors and call 911. Or if you got a phone, call 911. If you got neighbors like an apartment or a condominium and it's attached, you might want to let them know after you call 911 so that they know to get out of the way, get out. I've seen some pretty crazy stuff myself. I had a guy living above me in an apartment who the apartment next to me caught on fire, and he stayed in there taking things out, running them outside, and he ended up getting smoke damage to his lungs. Thank God he didn't die, but he definitely had damage to his lungs. So that brings up the other part of things I'm going to talk about is if you get fire on you, stop, drop, and roll. And I'll repeat that again. Stop where you're at, away from the fire, drop down to the floor, and roll until you get that fire out on you. Because the longer it burns, the more damage it's going to do to you. And then you want to get out of the house or the apartment where you're at. And I highly recommend that you stay close to the floor because that's going to be where the most air is. And either crawl on your hands and knees or crab walk and get to an outside door and get out of the place. Most people die in a fire from smoke inhalation before they ever burn. They burn to the point where they're dead. They die of smoke inhalation first. And so that's why I say get down close to the floor and get out of that place. If you were in another room where there was a fire like that, if you don't know exactly where the fire is coming from, put your hand on the door. You're close to the floor, put your hand on the door. If that door is hot, do not open that door. Seek another way out. If it's hot, you can bet that there's fire on the other side. So that's about all I got on this subject. I hope you got something out of it. And the next time we're going to talk about small appliances and knives and things. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Cooking for the Hungry. Thanks for your support. Any support that you can provide is appreciated. We have different levels. You know, you can pay by the month, you can pay by the year, or you can be in my loyal members club. You know, donating much more than $120 a year and up, and you get something more for each level. If you're watching this, then chances are you might be a free subscriber. You do get free things, you know, to look at. And my podcast for paid subscribers, they get access to videos that the free subscribers don't. It's just paid subscribers only. And they also get access to anything that's archived. They can go all the way back to the beginning and watch everything. Also, if they want a recipe, a full recipe with the directions, then I give them my email address, and I will email that to them. The Loyal Members Club, I offer all of that, plus I'm willing to 2 or 3 times a year, I will video in with you, if you let me know ahead of time what you want to make. And if you don't have the recipe, or you have a recipe, get it to me. If you don't have a recipe, I'll get the recipe to you so that we can be ready to do this thing. And I'll walk you through making a whole meal. And somewhere along the way here soon, I am going to offer anyone in the United States, I will come to your house and help you make breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'll have to pay for my, where I'm staying, the transportation, and where I'm going to stay, and provide the things that I need basically to live. And I will come and help you do those things. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Cooking for the Hungry. Bye.